guys, Ash here coming at you today in Raid Shadow Legends. Welcome to the video, guys. I'm happy to have you here, taking a little bit of time out of your busy day, talking Raid Shadow Legends with yours truly. It makes me happy, so thank you, guys. Today we're going to talk about Nukers, specifically the top 5 Nukers in every single faction in the game. It's been about a year and a half since we've done this. Suffice it to say, a ton of new and amazing Nukers have been added to the game since then. You guys let me know. I'm doing this kind of ad hoc. Obviously, you know, I'm familiar with every champion in the game, but if I forget anybody, you go ahead and let me know who you think I snubbed in the comments below. First off, guys, I went on a, not vacation. I traveled for work, actually, the last few days. Almost said vacation. It's, you know, Freudian slip. I think I need one. But came back. I missed you guys. Had to pre-record some content, so I'm back now. I had a great little work trip. Actually watched a movie called, gosh, what was it called? 8th Grade by Bo Burnham on the way home. It was pretty good. I also watched Casablanca for the first time. It was all right. It was all right. You ever watch a movie or something or read a classic book or something like that and you try to like talk yourself into it? That's kind of what I did. Wasn't really a massive fan of it. Other than that, I finished that Ken Follett book that I was telling you guys about, The Man from St. Petersburg. It was pretty dang good. It did drop off towards the end a little bit, but anyway, we have a 10-time Acresia today at the time of this going live. I am going to be selling my soul for it, so we'll see if I get her. I'm sure we'll be talking about her in today's video. Anyway, guys, enough rambling. Well, one last thing. Still going strong with chess with my son, man. He's still liking it. He's still enjoying it. We have chess night every Monday, and we have old school retro video game night. We're doing Castlevanias 1, 2, 3, trying to beat them all for Nintendo. And that's what I got going on in my life. Just want to check in with you guys a little bit. Let's go to the Banner Lords, guys. Talk about our top 5 Nukers in every single faction in the game. Baron. Well, he's a no-brainer, man. He's the #1 dude right now. You see a lot of arena teams, especially in Platinum Arena, using. He just has the best damage in the game with Sky Piercer ability, ignoring 50% of target's defense with great multipliers, plus Helm Smasher, plus Savage or Lethal Gear. You get 100% ignore defense. It's insane. So you can go into a bunch of champions with a lot of buffs. He is amazing. Rhonda, help me, Rhonda. I love getting into the MMA boxing stance, you know? I love the look. She's like, what up?
Take notes while I take toast.
Actually saw that Layla Fox did a co-stream with Rhonda. Pretty jealous, man. That's pretty cool. A triple hitter on the A1, triple hitter on the A2, and then a nice AoE attack on the A3 ability. I think she's underrated because all free champions are a little bit underrated in my opinion, because we have that psychological thing where we get something for free and we don't value them as highly. But she's a really good nuker, great in dungeons as well for a lot of players, probably, you know, hundreds of thousands of players inside the game. Septimus, this is in no particular order, by the way, guys. Septimus, of course, with the Holy Sword ability, the hardest single target enemy max HP ability in the game. That was before Acresia. I'm not sure if any of her single target enemy max HPs have better multipliers than Septimus's Holy Sword, but it's close, and he is a boss. You guys can let me know in the comments if you have access to that. Next up is going to be, so we have Septimus, we have Rhonda, we have Baron. Oh, how can I forget, man? Staltus Dragonbane. I would put him behind what's his face? Baron, sorry, man. Put him behind Baron as like one of the best nukers out there in Banner Lords, but even the entire game. He is widely considered to be the best defensive-based nuker in the game right now. This A3 Dragonheart hits, it smacks, man. It's big time. And he's bringing increased defense for you new players out there. Having increased defense buff is basically quintessential on your defense-based nuker, because that extra defense, not only helping them stay alive longer, but it's going to get so much extra damage as well. So it's kind of like an increased attack, but it helps their survivability and their damage. So he hits like a truck. He's got a single hitter AoE here and a double hitter AoE with a chance of stun on the 3-turn cooldown on the A2. Very good champion. And then I have one more spot open. Do I want to go down here for any rares? Do I want to go for any epics? Knight Errant is an honorable mention. He has a pretty cool hard-hitting ability. Archmage can deal some decent damage as well, but really, for me, it's Taurus. Taurus the Fierce. He's an HP-based nuker. An AoE attack damage increases by 15% for each buff on allies. The increasing duration of all ally buffs on the same ability with the heal. This is a really good ability. Incredibly good champion. He's not really your prototypical nuker, but I feel like he deserves it over anybody else. You can see he has a great damage mitigation with his Fierce Battler passive as well. Is there anybody else that you put in ahead of him? Nah, I wouldn't. I feel good about that. So those are my top 4 Banner Lords. Unfortunately, they are all legendary. That's not going to be the case in High Elves. Did I say 4 or 5? Wait a second, dude. Come on, man. Ash, Rhonda, Staltus, Terrace, Baron, Septimus. That is 5. Ash, come on, dude. I'm new here. Alexander, the sharpshooter.
What about us?
Dude, I like Alexander. I think he's a pretty cool champion. He gets a lot of hate out there because he's one of the least compelling out of all the free champions in the champion chase that came into the game. Is that what it's called, champion chase? What is it when you, is it? Yeah, I think it is. I don't know. Free champion, either way. AoE decreased defense, has a chance of weaken against certain factions, and then a very hard-hitting Born to Win ability. He's good for a DPS mixed with debuffs, right? He's actually, again, underrated. People hate on him. I don't really know why. He's not the best, certainly, but he's not the worst either. Bellinor definitely is on the list now, guys. He got a buff, a pretty substantial buff. Sometimes we forget about champions, or it takes us a while to pick up on a champion that got buffed to realize how good they are. This dude went from like a super mediocre void legendary to a really solid one now, man. Overkill can like one-shot basically anybody in the game. Very hard-hitting ability with surplus damage. And then on the A2 insurmountable, they changed it to an AoE attack. So it's a hard-hitting AoE attack with decreased defense and weaken, making him one of the 3, I think only 3 champions in the game. Void Affinity has a decreased defense and a weaken on the same ability on 3-turn cooldown. That is Bellinor, that is Lydia, and it's Venus. All right, next up is going to be Ethos. Ethos, obviously, he's like the old school OG nuker, void nuker in the game, and he's still got it, man. They actually give him a buff. Are you kidding me? Plarium, you gave him a buff?
I was under a lot of pressure. He was yelling at me.
Give him the big version of weaken on his A2 ability. Outburst hits very, very hard. So does Extinguish Life. And it's always critical too, guys. Very, very good nuker. I don't need to talk too much about Ethos. You guys already know if you have him. Yannicka. Yannicka's a very, very, very interesting nuker in the game. She has an extra turn ability and she's free in the clan shop. You have to collect her shards. It will take you a while, but eventually you can get your hands on Yannicka and she's very good. She's one of my favorite Spirit Affinity nukers inside the entire game, guys. She's got again, a hard-hitting ability here with a perfect veil on herself with an extra turn. So you can pop off somebody, kill him, come into the A3, Elven Judgment, and AoE, ignoring shield, hits very hard as well. And then, when she's under a veil, she attacks everybody as well on her A1. So she has an AoE on the A1 potential. Very, very cool nuker there. So we have Alexander, Bellinor, Ethos, Yannicka. I got room for one more, and it's definitely going to be Royal Guard, guys. First epic here, 10 champions, my first epic takedown is a money ability. It is the hardest hitting AoE enemy max HP ability in the epic champions inside the game, and it is just still fantastic for progression or against bosses. Even against later stage bosses, even with the enemy max HP mitigation, they added on like 21 to 25 level dungeons and some of the Doom Tower bosses, etc., etc. He's still great damage, right? Because 10% of enemy max HP when they have a billion HP is still a lot of HP. Sacred Order time, guys. Oh man, it's Astralon, dude. I love Astralon. I did not fuse Astralon, but I pulled Astralon, and I was surprised, man. Divine Eminence hits incredibly hard single target, and then Light of Sanctity is a big nuke, and if you don't nuke him, you stun him, because he's got a 100% chance win vote of stun here on this ability. I was so impressed by Astralon. I was not expecting him to hit as hard as he did. Abyss, ooh, she's one of the most underrated nukers inside the entire game, unless you have her, because if you have her, you know what I'm talking about. Divine Wrath is an insanely strong nuke, guys. Hits very, 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 very hard, and then she has Mass Impalement and AoE with decreased defense on the A2. Man, Abyss, very, very good. Constantine the Dayborn. Constantine. I really like his damage after they gave him a buff, right? So he has a 2-time hitter, ignoring defense for each of these debuffs, and then Quietude can basically one-shot anybody on his A3 ability as well. He is a pretty decent, he's a good nuker, but I still would like a little bit more from the champion, being that he's a void legendary. But all things considered, again, he smacks, and that's what nukers are supposed to do, right? Next up is going to be Cupidus. Dude, I can't believe they buffed this dude, man. I was a fan of Cupidus all the time, like already. He hit really, really hard flame out, single target ability, gives himself the increased attack, and then he has 2 strong AoEs on the A2 and the A1. He's placed in the burn as well, one of the best Hydra clan boss damage dealers and arena damage dealers, provided you have him on Venus on the same team with the counterattack, but even without, he can deal some significant damage. So I love Cupidus now after the buff. Now who do we have here? I don't want to forget anybody who is, do I put Armiger? Do I get cute and do I put Armiger? let's see. I love Fenax. I love Inquisitor Shamil. And then Venus technically is a debuffer or a support champion, but in my eyes, you could call her a nuker. I don't love Errol so much. Sir Nick can nuke. Bivald the Thorn can actually put out damage. Even Archbishop Pinthroy can put out damage. But you know what, guys? I'll tell you one dude I'm not giving it to. One dude I'm not giving it to.
Sin City was a maybe.
I'm gonna get cute here, guys. And Venus, we're not going to consider her a nuker, even though she can put out a ton of damage. We're going to give it to Armiger, man. He is an uncommon champion with the enemy max HP on a lay to rest ability with turn meter control on the A1. This is a 2-turn cooldown enemy max HP ability, guys. It does not smack as much as like Septimus's Holy Sword or anything like that, obviously, or Coldheart's Heartseeker ability. But hey, it deals a lot of damage from a defense-based, uncommon champion. Give me Armiger, or give me death. Barbarians, Chronum, very cool champion. He has the instant activation HP burn. He brings the HP burn, but not in the same skill like Ninja, but he can still do a ton of damage with this Berserker's Delight ability. And then he has the burn on the A3. I don't have him. Anybody want to be my friend in game and level up some little alt accounts and have some fun? I don't know, man. I need a little smurf for something, because I'm never gonna get him, man. I don't have any friends who play Raid Shadow Legends. I mean, you're my friend, obviously. The other viewers, not so much, but you know what I'm talking about. All right, number 2. Yakarl the Scourge. Yakarl the Scourge is an incredible champion after his buff, not just because he hits hard, he's got the freeze on the A3 ability. It can't be resisted with targets 75% or more turn meter. That's a very, very strong opening move for the arena. You can get him in Clan Shop as well, fragments. But is he the only champion with a different background? Every Barbarian's in this boring desert or whatever, right? Is it just a desert? You can't even tell what it is. Barbarians have a very boring background to me, but not Yakarl the Scourge. It is snowing, baby. Anyway, he hits very hard. He definitely makes the list because there's not a lot of strong, super compelling nukers here. In the legendary category, we have Chronum, we have Yakarl. Let's see. Oh, man. Alika smacks, guys. She hits very, very hard, high-value target on a 2-turn cooldown. Ignore 50% of their defense if their max HP is higher than this champion's. And then Disorient, it hits so hard that it has a 100% chance of increasing the cooldown of all enemy skills by 2 turns. This is a super slept-on champion, a super slept-on ability here. One of my favorite epic nukers in the game is Alika. All right, so we have Alika, we have Yakarl, we have Chronum. I think I'm going to put... It's crazy, but Valkyrie smacks, man. Valkyrie smacks. She can really take out enemy teams with a stand firm ability. She has one of the higher defenses in the game, a defense-based ability. Not only that, but counterattack and a shield, and their A1 hits hard too. So I'm actually going to put Valkyrie there as the 4th best, or in the top 5 of nukers. Now here we have Elder Skarg, who's a pretty compelling champion. Armina can deal a little bit of damage as well. We have actually a lot of good options here. I'm going to go with Soulbound Boyar. I'm gonna go with a rare, guys. Now, this does not mean that I'd rather have Soulbound Boyar than, a legendary champion in a vacuum. Give me the more rare champion because they're harder to get. But I guess in a vacuum, just evaluating their kits, Soulmon has an AoE on the A1. You can put her in attack and a crit damage gauntlet so much easier because every single one of her abilities has an additional 25% chance of inflicting a critical hit, man. That's really, really solid. She's ignoring enemy defense on an A2, 75% at that. And then on the A3, she's fully depleting target's turn meter, well, again, with a 25% chance of inflicting a critical hit. So not only can she deal damage, not only can she be used in a control set, as a stun set, as a control champion, but she's just she's built to be a nuker with an extra 25%. So I'm going to give it to Soulbond here. No offense, there's a lot of good, hard-hitting champions out there as well, even in the epic category, but I'm going to give a shout to a rare here. All right, guys, next up is Ogre Tribes. Biggin! I say it every time, man. I say it every time. Say it with me. The first legendary champion I ever pulled in Raid Shadow Legends is Biggin. He's got a crit on the A. He's got an AoE on the A1, provided he crits. On the A2, he's got an AoE with decreased accuracy and stun. On the A3, he's got turn meter control and decreased speed on a heavy double time hitter in Molten Slag. He is one of the best nukers out there, especially in PvE content. You can use him in the arena too. He smacked me down a couple times in the arena. Ignatius, an AoE defense-based champion with Provoke on the AoE and with HP Burn that cannot be resisted. Albeit on a 5-turn cooldown, they really need to bring this down to a 4 or 3-turn cooldown to make him a little bit more, you know, more viable. He's solid though. He's solid. He definitely makes my list. I'm a big fan of Ignatius. All right, we have Ignatius. We have Big N. We have Gurgo's in contention. We have, oh, Siege Hulk. Dude, this guy's a monster nuker, guys. Do not sleep on Siege Hulk. If you're looking for a lot of damage, look no further. He's squishy. It's hard to keep alive, only 760 on the defense, but he's bringing increased crit rate, increased crit damage, and increased attack on his A2. So he's bringing all these buffs to his own damage, and then he has his strong AoE here with decreased defense on a 3-turn cooldown. So he's a debuffer who brings a ton of nukage, right? Siegebreaker, same thing. Attacks one enemy, a lot of damage. Siege Hulk. All right, anybody else? Should I put? Okay, let me see. I want to be stupid here. I'm gonna do it. Guys. I just want to make sure I'm not forgetting anybody. You know what? Grimskin hits pretty hard. Galkit hits pretty hard. But I'm actually, and even Grush deals some sneaky damage with 2 AoE attacks. But I'm actually going to give it to Bellower, believe it or not, guys. I want to include some rares on this list, A, to just not put all legendaries in front of you guys. And B, I mean, he's got an AoE on every single ability. Not the highest multipliers in the game, but he's bringing debuffs. A lot of debuffs, and he's bringing a lot of AoE, so that damage could definitely stack up, not to mention the control again in the stun set. So I'm actually going to put Bellower on the list. So now we have Bellower, we have Siege Hulk, we have Biggin Ignatius, and I'm going to put Gurgo the Augur as the last guy. You can open up with a freeze on everybody, and then grant an extra turn, and then he's an attack-based champion who hits pretty hard with the Avalanche ability, places a second hit if they're under freeze, which they usually are because he just placed it on his A2 ability. A decent multipliers on his A1 as well, with a third hit again if they're under freeze, which is nice because you got an extra turn after you place it, and removing 2 random buffs. Pretty cool champion, albeit a little bit niche. All right, those are my top 5 from Ogre Tribes. Here we go in Lizardmen. Shagor! Welcome to the team, man. I was so happy when I pulled Shagor, man. He is such a freakishly good champion. Really, really, really is. Oh, there it is! Yay! Even better! Even better than Krisk. Not better than Krisk, but since I already have Krisk, you know what I'm saying? He's got an AoE on the first hit, 2-time hitter. First hit, poison, 4 turns on a 3-turn cooldown. Second hit, decreased defense, 3 turns on a 3-turn cooldown. You need to sleep for Sand Devil's Necropolis, he's got you covered on the A1. But you need a lot of counterattacks every single time an enemy takes damage from a poison that you put on him with Shagor. He's got the counterattacks every time. Instantly attacks enemies with a default skill whenever they receive damage from a poison placed by this champion. Got the heal in there as well, got a hard-hitting Heartstopper on the A3. I really love Shagor, guys. Fushan! Fushan is an underrated nuker, man. Very, very good Force Affinity nuker. I don't put him as good as Abyss, personally, but he's in the conversation. He's a hard-hitting A1, extra chance at an extra hit, and then he has an AoE ×2 stun, kind of like Scylla the Drake's A2 ability, only it hits a lot harder, right? And then on the A3, Shred also hits hard. I wish it was an AoE. It's not. Wish it was, but it still hits pretty hard. He also has speed in all battles, which is really, really nice. Strongest speed in all battle aura in the game. Next up, number 3, we're gonna give it to, hey, Pytheon. It's not Pytheon. I just wanted to look at him because I'm gonna have him in one day on this fragment summon at the time of this recording. Dracomorph is definitely on the list. He's bringing both of the biggest debuffs in the game, which is really, really cool. And he's got a 4-time at random with poisons. It hits hard too. And then on his Seeping Pain on the A1, you get surplus damage if you kill the enemy. Can deal a lot of damage, even though it was nerfed a year or 2 ago. Still one of the best damage dealers out there. He's my main damage dealer in Clan Boss. Not to mention, again, not just the poisons, but also the damage on his abilities. So that's Draco. That's Shagor. That is Fushan. Who are we going to give it to here? Okay, I want to make sure we're not forgetting anybody here. Nope. All right, let's give it to Roxanne. Roxanne!
Here we go again.
You don't have to put on the red light. Okay, sorry guys. I'm not going to redo the novel that is Roxanne's kit, But Flicker Step is a pretty good ability. It really synergizes it with a Veil. Roxum synergizes with another Veil or Perfect Veil champion, even though he does bring it himself in his kit. But he's doing an AoE attack with decreased defense and weaken if he's under a Veil. He's got sleeps, he's got stuns, he's got Perfect Veils on himself, and he hits pretty dang hard too. He's not my favorite nuker in the game, but I think he does make the list. And now we got Draco, we've got Roxum, we've got Shagur. Ramantu hits pretty hard, man. I mean, he can hit pretty hard. I'm gonna give it to Ramantu Drake's Blood. Yes, guys, you give me crap every single time that you see me, that I mention Ramantu, that I don't have him. Here's the deal. It's an excuse, it's a crappy excuse, but I'm gonna be real with you guys. I picked up Arbiter early on. I pulled Arbiter, I was so lucky. And then I said, well, screw this, I'm not gonna do the Arbiter missions anymore. And then I just like stopped. And then Ramen 2 came out, and I'm like, oh man, I gotta do all the missions from scratch. So I'm just being lazy. Bloodwings hits pretty hard, and so does Drake's Fury. It has every debuff known to man, so I think I'm gonna give it to Ramen 2 there. Although, honorable mention to Krisk, with 2 strong AoE attacks, and Razin as well. Heck, even Vergamkar now can deal a little bit of damage, and Nekmothar with 2 AoE attacks. So there's some definitely other decent candidates out there. Actually, Basilisk hits very hard with an AoE on his A1 too, so don't forget, don't sleep on my man Basilisk. Maybe he should have been the guy to get the last spot there. Skinwalkers, guys. All right, this is a tough one here. This is a tough one. I'm going to start with Nishak. Let's start with the obvious. The Rat Fusion. Man, this guy is so good. He's got an AoE here with an extra turn, right? He's got bombs, and then he's got poisons. He's got decreased attack as well. A lot of damage. Every time a bomb debuff placed by this champion detonates or is removed, it places 2 poison debuffs that are protected for 2 turns. That equals, well, a ton of damage, guys. A ton of damage. Love that guy. Leo! Of course, Leo's gonna make the list. If the A2 is not on cooldown, he's immune to all the CC debuffs. That makes him amazing in the arena. Not to mention, he has the Skull Crown Unkillable that preempts a fatal hit with the Unkillable buff, so he can't be one-shot. And then, unless you have an Ignore Killable, Unkillable ability like Rotos or something like that. Awesome Roar. We get the 100% True Fear on everybody. That's if they're left standing after that tumultuous attack, guys. A lot of damage. One of the best arena nukers inside the entire game. So we got Leo, we got Nishak, we got Tamisha. Very, very good champion. She's got the AoE, the stun. She got the AoE HP burn, 3 turns on a 3-turn cooldown. And this burning you get hits very, very hard, and it scales according to the number of HP burns in the battle up to 400% extra damage. What? That is insane, dude. Tamisha is a boss. Really, really love her. Ragash! Oh, man. Ragash is one of my favorite nukers in the game. He's defense-based. He has a lot of defense. He has really good multipliers, guys. And he has decreased defense. And he has stun. This kit is so freaking good. It should be illegal, dude. The 100% stun on a 3-turn cooldown is already incredible. Then he's bringing a ton of damage. Then he's bringing decreased defense? What? And then, you know, not a damage ability, but strengthen, increased speed, and perfect veil on himself. Dude, strengthen and increased speed, by the way, on everybody. This kit is just absurd. He's such a good champion. All right, so we have Ragash. We have, oh man. We have Tamisha. We have Leo. We have Nishak. So now it could be Brachus. It could be Uko. It could be even Longbeard. Even Samson deals some nice damage. Even Fane could be in the conversation. She hits hard. Basher hits decent. There's a lot of nukers in this category, boys and girls. I'm going to give it to, it comes down from me, Brachus, who's one of the best single target raw damage dealers in the game. You could arguably put him over, I'm going to give it to Cleo, believe it or not, guys. Cleo with a Sky Punishment ability, we get increased accuracy, and then we're putting Hex on everybody with a strong AoE attack, 4-turn cooldown. Her and Yannicka, to me, are the quintessential Spirit Affinity nukers in Raid Shadow Legends. We have an AoE as well on the A2 on a 3-turn cooldown. She's bringing increased crit rate and increased crit damage in her kit as well. She can smack after she got a buff, a big buff. So if you had her in your vault or something, she's a daily login reward champion after like, what, 2 years or something? Take her out. She's really, really good. Really fun. Kornar can deal some sneaky damage too. But anyway, on to Oryx. Let's start with Robar. I mean, Robar has a very, very hard-hitting kit, guys. He used to be one of the crappiest legendary champions in the game. He always hit hard, though. That's the cool thing about him. But they gave him a buff. They buffed his speed, too. He used to be like 87 speed. That's ridiculous, man. Any legendary below 90, below 95? I think they should just give the courtesy, you know, the cost of living increase, right? Don't they? Clarium, you need a cost of living increase.
So nice that I'm going to jot your name down in my book of enchanting, success-filled people that are winning at life and deserve cakes.
We get an AoE decreased defense, and then we get Merciless Assault. Hits extra damage if they're under a CC. So if they're under a CC debuff, dude, this guy can hit with the best champions in the game. Very, very nice champion indeed. Next up is going to be, dude, there's a lot of underwhelming, disappointing nukers in this category. Let me take a quick, oh, Seer. Of course Seer is going to be on the list because of Karma Burn. It is the best PvE nuke out there in the game. Very good champion. By the way, guys, you may have noticed I didn't mention like Eleanoril. I'm not going to mention Xavier or Theodore the Bard, only because I'm not including combust champions as like prototypical nukers in the game. And there's so many champions, you know, if I included all those, it'd be a lot more. So no Calvalax for that reason as well. But Seer, definitely because of the Karma Burn ability, very, 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 very strong. All right, anybody else here who's a no-brainer? I'll tell you what, Zargala's in the conversation. None of the rares. I just want to be careful here. I'm going to put Denang, Skull Reap. Very cool champion, guys. He's got he's got one of the coolest capes, I would say, in the game. What do you guys think? The width of the cape is almost the width of his body, dude. And he just needs some shoes, man. But he's an orc at the end of the day, right? Anyway, an AoE decreased defense and a true fear. Champions from High Elf and Dark Elf cannot resist the debuffs. By the way, if he kills a champion from a High Elf or Dark Elf, this guy hates elves, man. Hates elves. He gets an extra turn. You can have some fun with this dude, especially against High Elves and Dark Elves, right, in the arena. And then he has a very, very strong battle flow, single target attacker as well. So very, very good kit. Some nice damage. Fun to play around with. Same thing with Nagdar, guys. I'm going to include Nagdar. I've got a soft spot in my heart for Nagdar. Remember the one day that he was able to, like, basically 1 second or 6 seconds the Sand Devil Necropolis? I have a video in case you guys missed that. Just search like Sand Devil Ash and you'll see Nagdar video. It was insane, but he's still fun, right? He has a self-revival and he needs it too. If he's the only person alive, he's going to revive himself because he's sacrificing HP and nuking the heck out of everybody. Again, not the strongest nuker out there in the world. He's so squishy. He's got 12k HP, this dude. But you can have some fun with him, especially in a frenzy set. All right, next up we have what? We have Denang, Robar, Nagdar, Seer. We got room for one more, and believe it or not, guys, believe it or not, I'm going to give it... Oh, this is a tough one. You know who it's between for me, guys? It's between Iron Brago and actually, not Zargala, even though I love you, Zargala. I think I'm going to give it to Tuok the Wanderer. I'm a massive, massive Tuok fan. Listen, Iron Brago is fantastic. He really is for a defense-based nuker. But this dude giving you attack in all battles. He's one of the only, like, 5 champions in the entire game that has 100% decreased speed on a 3-turn cooldown. Isn't that crazy? There's only, like, there might be 6, but there's not that many. And he's one of them. So a very, very good nuke here on the A3, and a very hard-hitting, clever brutality with the stun. This dude is to me, he's very close to a hidden gem nuker out there. I think that he does not get enough love that he deserves. Tuok the Wanderer. So I'm going to give it to Tuok. I'm going to give Tuok some love, guys. Demon spawn time, guys. Oh, there's some good ones here. Hefrak, one of my favorite nukers out there in the game. Mainly because of this Prince of Pride passive, dude. It's next level. Whenever an ally is killed, instantly activates Hefrak Scorn, which is a very hard-hitting AoE attack, even if it will not put the skill on cooldown, excuse me. So this is Hefrak Scorn. It hits an extra hit with targets less than 50% HP after the first hit, right? So you're basically 2-hitting everybody because it hits so hard, and each hit will ignore 15% of the target's defense. Really, really nice, and then he's giving himself the buffs, increased crit rate, increased attack, and then an extra turn on the A3 ability. Just a monster of a nuker out there, guys. I was so impressed by that dude when I was lucky enough to pull him. Candyman, I've said it before, guys, but I do think that he's one of the best, if not the best, Go Second nukers in the game. He has his passive, right? When he's under a veil, first of all, he's placing a perfect veil on himself for 1 turn each time an enemy's turn meter is filled, cannot be removed, and then he's dealing extra 40% damage and getting 40% damage mitigation built in when he's under that veil or perfect veil, and then Butcher's Glee hits incredibly hard. So Candyman definitely makes the list. Sissia Flametongue, one of my favorite nukers in the game, especially for Hydra Clan Boss. She's got an AoE HP burn, grants an extra turn if you place HP burn on everybody. You can come right into Flame Eruption. It does a lot of damage. You place Weaken. You place Decrease Defense if there's 2 or more enemies under HP burn. So again, Decrease Defense and Weaken on the same ability. If there's 2 enemies under burn, which usually there are because you just used your Firestorm Right A3 ability, and then you're instantly activating HP burns with the triple hitter also on the A1. Very, very good nuker in the game. All right, so 1, 2, and 3. We got Enithwi. We got Krutraxa. We get Helicath, who could actually deal some damage. We got Lord Shazar. We got Mortum Macabre. And we got Magnar. What? And we only have 1 spot? 1, 2, 3. Oh, we have 2 spots. We have 2 spots. All right, well, you guys know I'm going to freaking put Magnar there, dude. I don't care. Even though there's a million OP legendaries, guys, I can't knock my man Magnar. I can't take him off the list. I can't snub him. He's got Percussive Pound, which hits incredibly hard ×2. A great go second nuker. I'm sure a lot of you guys use Magnar because he's that good. All right, guys, back to the hard decision. Who's going to be the last here? Who's going to be the last one? You know what, guys? Honestly, Enithwi, I've never been the massive fan of Enithwi. He's like fun, but he doesn't hit hard enough for me. Krutraxa's amazing. I love Krutraxa, but I'm going to give it to Mortum Macabre, because he is the most meta champion in the game right now in the arena. Oh my god, dude. He's everywhere. He's freaking everywhere. The only champion that's on more teams than Mortum Macabre is Ultimate Death Knight. It's insane because of this peril ability. Block Revive, he's HP base, easy to keep alive, he's in Stone Skin, and he's annoying, super annoying. But those are my 5, guys. Do you agree or disagree with those 5 on Demon Spawn? That was a tough one. Undead Horde. All right, number 1 is going to be Rotos, man. Rotos is just... I said that Candyman was the best go second nuker in the game. I would say Rotos could give him a run for his money. He's so freaking good, dude. This Fated Destruction can basically one-shot almost anybody and then give you an extra turn. This A2 can be basically powered up based on enemy max HP. It adds him to himself, and his attacks scale off of HP as well. So when you're adding HP to his HP, he's hitting harder as well. Very, very cool champion. A chance of an extra turn on the A1, so you can just come extra turns all over the place with this champion. Very good, especially when paired with Siphi, and he can't get one shot. So very, 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 very good champion. I love Rotos. All right, next up is going to be Bloodgorged. Bloodgorged, very underrated champion. He has Decapitate, which can deny revival off of one enemy. Ignores 100% defense on this ability, one of the hardest hitting abilities in the game. And again, Ignore Revival is great. You can take out the nuker if they have a reviver, not even have to worry about them reviving the nuker, and they're basically hamstrung. Also, an AoE attack, put one of each target skills on cooldown on Raging Beast, and this also hits hard, the Raging Beast ability. All right, that's 1, 2. There's some tough ones, guys. This is a tough one, I'm not gonna lie. But I'm actually gonna go with LMA. Little Miss Annie. She doesn't get a lot of love out there, but I'm a big fan. I mentioned this before on the channel, but Playdate is really, it's up there with some of the other abilities that we talked about in terms of the hardest hitters out there in all Raid Shadow Legends. It's up there with Decapitate. It's up there with Dead Aim. Some of the abilities, again, that we've already spoken about, Overkill, etc. It's so good, man. It's such a cool ability. And then Toys Don't Die when she revives. She comes back and tries to kill whoever killed her with a triple hitter, hard hitting on Pretty Nails on the A1. And then she has a perfect veil on herself. You kill an enemy on the A2 ability. Everything in her kit hits very hard. She's a little bit one-dimensional. She's also good on ally attack teams. All right, so now we have Rotos, we have Bloodgorged, and we have Little Miss Annie. I'm going to give the next one actually to Mashal, guys. He's getting extra turns all over the place with his A2 abilities, like the Energizer Bunny. He's putting the Leech ability on all enemies, and then he's attacking everybody under Leech with the A1, so it's actually a sneaky AoE on the A1. He can deal some serious damage to the clan boss. He can also remove their buffs with the A3, Hydra clan boss, that is. I think Mashal is definitely deserving to be in the conversation. I'm a little bit underwhelmed with some champions like Suzerain, Catan. Crypt King Growl could definitely be on the list. I just pulled him, and I'm pretty happy. I have Saito, and I have him fully blessinged out. I've always been underwhelmed with Saito. I'm sorry to all the Saito fans out there, but, you know, I gotta be real. You know what, guys? I'm gonna go totally off the board here. And what do I have so far? I have 1.
There's a time in life you have to protest.
How many times am I gonna count this, huh? 1, 2, 3. I think I'm gonna take Mashal out. I lied to you. I'm sorry.
Why me?
It's my video. I can do what I want. I'm gonna give it to Dark Elhane, right? Dark Elhane's so good, man, because Death's Majesty hits so hard. She got the self buff, increase attack, and she's so good whenever anybody is frozen. She's instantly activating the Death's Majesty. That is so much damage, man. Great against Torment teams, great against Ice Golem. Anywhere you're susceptible to freeze, she's amazing. She can't even be frozen. She's removing it and replacing it with one of these buffs. She's a great nuker. A little bit niche, but one of my favorite nukers in the game. And then Husk is the 5th spot, right? So Michelle, you're out.
Yeah, what we deserve.
Husk, Dark Elhane, you're in. Husk is obviously super meta right now. Great for control with the stun and great for Hydra Clan boss damage with the Despair ability. All right, sorry about switching things up here, guys. I'm doing this live, okay? Next up in the Dark Elves, guys, I'm definitely gonna give it to Ray. I'm a big fan of Ray. She's an old school legacy champion in the game. When I started playing this game, people talked about her as one of the best nukers in the game. They don't really mention her name as one of the best nukers, but she's still freaking really good. She's great on a blender team, on an ally attack to any ally attack team because of the strong AoE on the A1 with decreased defense, and then another AoE, 50% more damage against targets under debuffs, and then another AoE with the freeze on a 6-turn cooldown on Banish. She's also removing all buffs. Ray is a sneaky good nuker. Very, very cool. Foley, I just put a video out on Foley like a month ago or a few weeks ago. Holy moly, I love Foley.
Hey, that's pretty good.
Didn't mean to rhyme that. Sorry, guys. Holy moly, I love Foley. I guess I can make a theme song for Foley here. Enemies cannot be revived. Decrease target's turn meter, then attacks the targeted enemy. So you're attacking everybody and then the targeted enemy on top of that. Just one of the best overall deny revival champions out there. He also has a 4-time hitter on the A2 with a leech and another 4-time hitter with the decreased defense on the A1. I love this champion. When you try to put a stun, sleep, freeze, or provoke on him, he instantly removes it, heals him, and boosts his own turn meter by 50%. That's nuts for the arena, guys. Really, really, really love Foley. All right, so that's 2 already. I gotta be careful here. Let's just keep going with the obvious choices here. I said I wasn't gonna mention Xavier, but I'm gonna mention Xavier. Because even without the poison combust, you have, again, an AoE attack 4-turn cooldown. Enemies killed by this skill cannot be revived. I think, again, even though I said I wasn't going to put her on the list, I'm going to put her on the list because I think that this Deadly Catalyst is a really good ability, even without just the poison combustion, but especially with it, right? So Xavier is going to be number 3, and then I'm actually going to give it to... It's crazy to say, but I'm going to give it to Rule the Huntmaster. Rule, very good champion. A lot of damage, sneaky damage dealer. Might not be the best champion in the game, but I think in terms of damage, he's really, really solid. He's got increased accuracy on all allies, hits everybody very, very hard with Unleash the Hunt ability, an extra hit on enemies under Hex. Then he has this really cool passive. Increase the damage enemies under Hex debuffs receive by 10%. Decrease the value of their heals by 30%. That's really good, especially when more and more champions get added to the game with Hex. You know what, guys? Marinix, I think I'm going to put her on the list. She got the AoE decreased defense, the AoE Hex, and then another AoE ignoring Unkillable and Shield here on the A3 ability. I was surprised and happy with her damage, so I think that she is a good round out here for a choice. However, there are a lot of other options here, such as Ghostborn. I'm a big fan of him as well. Ava's not too bad. Again, I mentioned Dark Kale. But yeah, I think I'm happy with those choices. I'm happy with those choices in Dark Elves. Knights Revenant. Choice number 1 is Shemnath. Oh, Statue of Liberty. I love this champion, guys. She is so freaking good on this ability, Humbled and Broken, right? It's a staff ability. She just takes this Statue of Liberty staff, even though Statue of Liberty doesn't have a staff. Let's play with me here, guys. She just goes, boom! She just plops it into the ground, and it just nukes the heck out of everybody. Attacks all enemies 2 times. First hit removes all their buffs. Second hit, ignore 25% of the target's defense that have no active buffs. Very, very, very fun champion. Nice to have the buff strip and the nuke in one ability. That's really, really special. Number 2, guys, is going to be Thea, the Tomb Angel. Really fun champion, guys. She's the first Doom Tower hard champion that you get, and she's a lot better than she used to be. She has a true fear on all enemies for 1 turn whenever they lose 30% or more of their max HP in a single hit. Not a bad passive. And then she has Not of This World. It's just a perfect veil, but it grants an extra turn, okay? Check out the A1. 2 times at random. This debuff cannot be resisted, plus a Hex. Each critical hit decreases the cooldown of Not of This World by 1 turn. So 2 turns off of Not of This World doesn't sound like much, but think about it. You get an extra turn every time you use this ability anyway. It's like, it's really cool, the dynamics of her kit in terms of getting extra turns here and reducing the cooldown of the A3, thus more extra turns. And then on the A2, her big Hex Reaper ability attacks all enemies, damage increases by 50% for each Hex up to 300%. This, when activated to the full 300%, is the hardest PvE nuke out there inside the game. But again, you have to activate it, right? All right, that's 3 already. Ooh. 4, you know what, guys? I think I'm gonna do it again. You guys don't mind, right? I'm taking Thea out, even though she has one of the hardest nukes in the game, because I think Solus is a monster. I mean, even Hegemon's a monster, right? You can build him to nuke and just shred people. However, Wave of Despair hits very hard, and then the AoE increased duration of all debuffs on each target by 1 turn, places a provoke on all enemies, a shield on himself, damage increased by 10% for each debuff on the target. Reign of Terror hits so freaking hard. He is my second favorite defensive nuker inside the game. And then I'm going to give it to, dude, Nutcracker, I still want you so bad, man. I still want you so bad, you crazy turning head Nutcracker. Jirgid the Breaker. Oh man, an AoE decreases turn meter. It places an unkillable on this champ if the attack kills an enemy. Look at this passive, 50% chance for this champion to ignore 50% of the target's defense with each hit placed by this champion's skills. You put this passive with a very hard-hitting March of 10, excuse me, with Helm Smasher, with Lethal, with Savage, and it's nasty. It's nasty. He also has an Ignore Stone Skin ability on Deadly Ballet on the A3. Whoa, he's a really good champion. And guys, this is so tough for the last spot here. Honestly, Knight's Revenant, I wasn't ready for it, but they have the best nukers so far, I think, because they have some really sick epic nukers. And I don't know who to choose here, guys. Skullcrown or Thylesia? Can we just cheat and call it a tie? Thylesia is amazing. She has an AoE, does a lot of damage, increased duration of debuffs, and then another AoE with decreased defense, has Hex on the passive. Really, really good champion, a lot of damage. And Skullcrown, man, the OG of damage dealers. We're going to give you 6. We're actually going to give you 7 if you include Thea. We'll call it the top 5 damage dealers in each faction, plus 7 in Knights of the Revenant. We'll change the title of the video. An AoE with Weaken, guys. An AoE with an extra hit on targets more than 50% HP, and then that unkillable that she's known for. Not to mention the speed aura. Skullcrown is still a beast, a monster in this game. Wow, dude. And I have to snub my man Ashwalker. I love you, Ashwalker. Not gonna make it 8 though. All right, dwarf time. Trunda. Obviously Trunda. I mean, she's still one of the best, man. She's been one of the best forever. I said this video recently, but it should be illegal to give one of the best nukers in the game 23k base HP. Are you kidding me, dude? This Forge Rhythm, if you build her with a low accuracy, it hits so hard ×2. If you build it with high accuracy, it hits hard, then a stun. And then a very hard hitting, a 6 multiplier and Cloak of Ages on the first target and 60% damage on everybody else. Just an insanely good nuker in the game. I don't have to tell you guys, you already know. Herndig! I wish I went for you, Herndig. Very hard-hitting ability. He has an AoE with decreased defense, decreased accuracy on a 3-turn cooldown, and then attack all enemies if the first attack is critical with Stasis Strike, fully depleting target's turn meter, chance of placing Weaken. I mean, it's insane. This dude's, he hits very, very hard. All right, then we got Trunda, we got Herndig. We have, okay, we have some, Acresia. Acresia. I don't even want to talk about her because I get a little bit jealous of anybody who has her. Enemy max HP. Enemy max HP, enemy max HP on every ability? What in the world? With the AoE too on the A2. Man, oh man, Acresia, there's not much else to say other than holy crud, she might be the best nuker inside the entire game. In fact, she is the best PvE nuker inside the entire game, bar none. All right, so that is for PvE. I give it to Nutcracker in the other category, or Baron. You know what, guys? I haven't been given enough love to non-legendary champions as much as I'd like to. So I'm actually gonna, you guys know I'm an unabashed, massive fan of Khazar Deepheart, dude. He's a really, really good champion. He's squishy, that's the only problem, right? Kind of like Siege Hulk, right? Only a rare. 12k on the HP and 870 on the defense. The good news is he hits hard, and he has 2 AoEs on a 3-turn cooldown, great for a stun set, and he brings increased accuracy, the first champion to bring increased accuracy on an AoE introduced to the game. And I really just love this dwarf, man. People do not mention him as one of the best rares in the game, and I really think he is. I really do truly believe that, guys. And then the last one I will give to, I like Gottfried a lot, man. This guy, he hits pretty dang hard. But I love Gala. I love Gala, man. I put out a video on her. I was so surprised. I mean, I knew she was good, but she can hold her own with even some legendary single target nukers out there. 3-time hitter over here, grants an extra turn if she has full HP after attacking with this skill, and then comes into Fearless Aggression, which hits super hard, ignores 50% of defense. So you can just pop off 1-2 enemies, starting out with Gala Long Braids, Void Affinity, no bad affinity matchups. I'm a big fan. Honorable mention to Gottfried, who's really cool. Even Tormund can actually put out some damage, Nari too. There's a lot of options there that I could have chosen. Shadowkin, top 5 nukers in the Shadowkin faction, Karato. I am a fan of Karato Foxhunter. I really am, guys. He has a 2-turn stun, and then he has an AoE suppression ward that actually hits really hard on the A3. So I know he's not a super popular champion. You get a lot of hate every time I mention that I like him, but I don't care. I'm standing by my opinion. I love Karato. And then I love Michinaki, man. I mean, what a champion, dude. What a champion. AoE defense base, decreased defense, decreased attack on enemies under Hex, and then this double degeneracy. Attacks all enemies 2 times. First hit removes all buffs. Second hit hexes them out. Really good. And look at this. 2 books goes right to cooldown. That's how every champion should be made in this game. What's better, though, is whenever an ally attacks a champion under Hex, he has a 50% chance to join the attack with an HP burn on his A1, dude. 60% chance of landing. This is one of my top damage dealers out of my entire account for Hydra Clan Boss. That's how good he is. All right, so that's 1. It's obvious. 2, obviously Ninja. Do I have to say anything else? Hailburn, one of the best boss killers in the game. That's 3. I'm adding Harmina is a monster. I wish I had her. I pulled for her. I did not get her. But this A3, Celestial Awe, it smacks, dude. I have been on the other side of this ability way too many times in the arena not to give it respect and give her a massive mention in this video. Demon Slayer. Enemy ignored defense effects are decreased by 50%. That's insane, man. One of the best arena champions on Go Second teams inside the entire game. She has so much defense, 1531, and this is ridiculous. This ability is ridiculous. To provoke and that much damage, Harmina definitely makes the list. And then, of course, guys, sorry, Aboro, I'm going for Genbo. I love Genbo the Dishonored, and I can't make a video about best nukers and not include Genbo. So sorry, Jintoro. He's got the increased crit rate, the increased crit damage, an extra turn, and then a Heartless Blitz, man. It is, boom! It smacks, dude. I love the Heartless Blitz ability. I love Genbo. Decreasing the duration of all buffs, and it cannot be resisted on critical hits. Sure, why not? And then he's immune to decreased attack, ignoring unkillable when attacking under an increased attack buff. Dude, just a perfect nuker, man. I love Genbo. All right, guys. Sylvan Watchers. So I'm going to start with Dathi. Mistrider Dathi can deal some damage, man. He's an AoE decreased defense. Grants an extra turn if it's placed on all enemies by this skill. It's on a 4-turn cooldown, but he has the extra turn. And then on the A3, he has another grant an extra turn ability. Increase attack, increase accuracy, grant an extra turn. And then the A1, he has a 10%, make it 20, of granting another extra turn. Very cool champion. Can deal some decent damage. And again, all those extra turns really do add up. I think he's a very compelling champion. I really like his kit. Ruella, also on the list here, a triple hitter on the A1. Chance of stealing turn meter, amazing for Fire Knight, amazing for control, and then a triple hitter again with decreased defense and weaken and decreased speed. Dude, that's sick. 75% chance of landing, but each hit has a chance of placing all of those, so it's very dependable. I really like Ruella, man. I need to do a guide on her. I think there's a few of them out there already, but she's really good, huh? All right, now, I'm going to give it to Alil, even though I'm not a big fan of the champion, but, you know, there's not a lot of options here. Chill Wind of Autumn, an AoE, before attacking, removes increased defense, replaces with a decreased defense, removes strengthen, replaces them with a weaken. It's pretty nice, right? Plays a block buffs for 1 turn on champions not under decreased defense or increased defense or strengthen, and the buff removal and debuff placement cannot be resisted. This reads as like the most sick ability in the game. It doesn't do enough damage. That's the only problem, but still, it is really good. Like all those, and the removal can't be replaced. That's really nice. And then we have Ignore Stoneskin. Again, I think this is the second and only Ignore Stoneskin ability in the game. So yeah, I'll give it to Alil. And then this, no one has her yet, so it's hard to say. It's hard to say, but you know what, guys? She got the burn, and she got 2 AoEs. I'm going to give it to her. I'm going to give it to Saoirse the Shard, the Plarium Points champion, okay? Because, again, there's not many great options here, so that's going to be number 4. And then, I don't know, Galkabar and Elva are amazing, but they don't deal any damage. And Ruark, again, more of a tank with a taunt ability. I guess, you think I should give it to Ornn here, guys? I don't know. He's got the AoE, he's got poison sensitivity and instant activation. I guess, again, for lack of better options, just from all the poisons, I guess I'll give it to him. What about you guys? Any other, is Enda any good? Doesn't look like it. 3 times at random, and then we have an AoE with a leech. As you can see, I do not have Enda Moonbeam, but it looks like he actually might be the option. Because 3 times at random, each has a chance of increasing the random debuff, if I can speak. And the AoE leech with a decent, base attack increases the champion's speed by 2 each time an enemy under a leech debuff. Well, I can't read today. I'm sorry, guys. But at least it's the end of the video. So, guys, that's going to do it for the video. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know who you would choose or who I snub. What was my biggest snub, guys? Let me know in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching. And as always, take care, guys.